Hello everyone, hello ladies, hello everyone. So here we are for this week's installment. Okay, this week's installment I want to talk to you more about being more yin. Okay, because this is ultimately what it's all about. Okay, being more yin, right? What it means, why it's important. Okay, hello Julia. So being more yin is the kind of term that I've coined, if you like, okay? For me, what this means ultimately is meditation, okay? There's a meditative practice that I practice and teach, which is the ultimate be more yin, okay? But also it's a way of being, okay, which is very present moment. It's a very aware state, okay? So when you're in this present moment aware state, your mind is present and alert and awake, and your body is able to go into a deep state of rest, okay? Mind awake, body asleep. It's the ultimate state, okay? So they talk about this in Sanskrit teachings as the fourth state. The fourth state. There's 7 states of known consciousness, 7 known states of consciousness. The first 3 are what most human beings know of and will only be aware of in their lifetime: waking, dreaming, and sleeping. This fourth state is a state which is called Turiya in Sanskrit and is mind awake, body asleep, for the purposes of our conversation today, okay? And what I've come to experience through prioritizing this practice is that it is at the basis of everything, okay? So like a visual came to me the other day. It's like wheels, okay? So we can think of the wheel of life, like the coaching wheel of life, okay? And you've got your 8 kind of segments on this wheel, the wheel of your life. You look at your health, you look at your mindset, you look at your relationships, you look at, hello Seb, you look at your career, and you look at your wealth, and you look at your environment, and you look at your fun. Okay, so there's different areas of life. You also look at your spirituality. Okay, and so when we think of the wheel of life, it's a wheel with segments on it, and there's always a central hub of a wheel, isn't there? And the central hub of this wheel is awareness. Okay, awareness is at the center of everything. And if we're going about our lives without awareness, then we're losing all of our power. And if we engage any and all aspects of our lives from awareness, we are in our center, we are grounded, aligned, present, and available for higher wisdom to flow through, okay? And a deeper embodiment of the states which we wish to experience and embody, okay? So I've been on this manifestation journey for over 20 years. Over 20 years since I first watched something called The Secret, which taught me, in that evening when I saw The Secret, my life changed, because it taught me that I am the one that is creating my life. My thoughts are what is attracting, like a magnet, into my experience, circumstances, people, places, and events that are on a resonance with the thoughts that I'm thinking. Okay, so it all comes down to vibration. There's a certain vibration to each thought we feel. And so negative thoughts have a heavier vibration. They feel heavier in our body, and they tend to attract heavier feeling circumstances, outcomes. Okay, and then higher vibrational thoughts are lighter, and they feel lighter in the body. and they feel closer to the states like joy and love and peace and harmony, and they tend to attract more harmonious people, places, circumstances and events into our lives. Okay, and so this is manifestation. Where was I going with that? I haven't planned anything I'm going to say, by the way. Okay, so this is all just completely flowing off the cuff. But when I talk about being more yin, you could call it meditation like I do, or you could call it awareness practice. You could call it being more yin. You can call it whatever you want, okay? But ultimately, this is what I'm talking about today. And this awareness practice is at the center of everything. It's at the center of your manifestations. Because as you become more aware, you also become more aware of everything. You become more aware of your thoughts. And you become more aware of the vibration of your thoughts by how they make you feel. And you become more aware of the results that you're getting in your life, which are a result of this inner state. And through the practice of being more yin, I'm asking you, inviting you in to cultivate a state of awareness. I'm inviting you in to cultivate a state of stillness, of presence, of peace, which will ultimately allow you to enjoy your life more, because you will be fully immersed in the present moment with less thoughts about other moments, and therefore a full and total awareness of what is actually here right now. Okay, because what is actually here right now in this moment is peace. Right now in this moment, 99 times out of 100 right now is good. There is no problem here. We might have problems in our lives that do need our attention and need solving, but they're not actually physically and literally happening to you right now. And when we spend most of our lives thinking about problems and about other moments, and some of these moments that might never even happen, then it basically creates this heaviness. It creates this state of stress in our nervous system. And it can actually mean that unknowingly we create the outcomes that we least want rather than the outcomes that we most want. Okay? And so over the years, this awareness practice has been my number one priority. It has been the practice that I've practiced for the longest time out of anything in my whole life. Okay? So I came to manifestation work 20 years ago. But I first learned to meditate when I was 17 years old. When I was 17 years old was, 17, 27 is a decade, 37 is 20 years, 37 and 5, 20 and 5. I've been practicing meditation for 25 years as a committed, prioritized daily practice. Okay, so what meditation is to me is like having a shower. It's like having your daily shower, but it's for your mind and your energy. And it's for this stress that is held within our nervous systems. Okay, it's a release, it's a cleansing of the stress. And then the more we practice present moment awareness practice, mindfulness, meditation, or being more yin, the more we practice this, the more we actually become the state. Okay, so we at some point don't have to think about it anymore. We just are present. We just are clear. And we just are here and available and fully in appreciation of the gifts of this moment and fully able to be present and serve with the people that are in this present moment with us, okay? And to truly connect with the soul of the person in front of us because we're so present without thinking of other moments as much as the average person would, okay? And so forgiveness is a central theme in all spiritual practice. And ultimately, what it means to forgive is to see someone as they are in this moment, not your past stories about them. Because what normally happens when we're living from our mind is we are projecting our stories about this person's past onto them every time we see them. And we're seeing this person through the filter of our own version of events, okay? And that is not necessarily who they are today. And I know this from being a person who's been on a healing path most of my life. There is a continual letting go. There is a continual shedding of skins. There is a continual movement towards inspiration, towards evolution, and towards future kind of growth. Okay? And so something one of my amazing spiritual teachers, okay, so it's a spiritual teacher who wasn't directly my mentor, is Dr. David R. Hawkins, okay? But I've read all of his works and followed him for many decades. Even though he's not with us in the physical anymore, I still class him as one of my greatest spiritual teachers. And he said, the future is pulling you, not the past projecting you. Okay, now most people think that they are who they are today because of that they are a result of their past. Okay, and that is one way of living. That is one way of looking at it. You could think, okay, I'm who I am today simply because of my past. But what the spiritual, you don't even need to call it spiritual, okay? Because when I teach spirituality, it's more practical than anything else in the world, okay? Present moment awareness is the most practical thing you can be, thing you can do, thing you can practice, thing you can engage. It's the most practical. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a sec. But ultimately, this kind of spiritual perspective is that it's your future that's pulling you towards it. So there's a future you, a future evolved, higher self that is already self-actualized in all of the things that you wish you were now, like is fully healed, is fully awake, has the manifestations that you might be trying to make happen now, okay? And it's that future, that evolved future of evolution, of perfection, of actualization that is pulling you towards it, okay? So those are two ways of living. You can be living as my past has propelled me and made me who I am today, or my future is calling me, okay? And there's another quote which is coming to mind now, that the future affects the present as much as the past does, okay? So I'm not saying that the past isn't a valid, contributor to who you are today. Of course it was. If anything in your past had been different, you would not be the exact person you are today. And you wouldn't be, perhaps in the job you're in today, and you wouldn't be in the relationships you're in today. If anything in your past had been different, it might have taken you on a completely different path altogether. So of course the past is a huge part of who you are today. But when you're in an awake state, when you're conscious and consciously aware and present moment, fully engaged, I'm awake now, without all of this excessive thinking happening all the time, which is pulling me out of the now and causing stress on my body, then you can actually be pulled by that future inspiration. And you can be, you can allow yourself, you can surrender to the present moment, knowing that this present moment is floating downstream towards that magnet that is pulling you forwards, okay, that inspiration. I hope that makes sense, because I didn't really think I was going to be saying anything like this today, okay? The reason I came on, I come on every week now, right? But the thing I really wanted to say today was about being more yin, okay? And how it's at the center of everything. And so we can think of it like the wheel of life, and how awareness is at the centerpiece, because we can live our lives through awareness, okay? And we can live our lives through inspiration, and we can live our lives with this more kind of like actively engaged hope, okay? And also when I think of healing the body. Okay, so I've touched on it a few times there now, about how the more present we are, the more this nervous system relaxes, releases stress, and heals itself naturally. Okay, the more your body will heal itself, the more present and the more surrendered and the more in trust and the more relaxed you are in the now. Okay, and then we can think of it in terms of relationships. Okay, so if we think of all the major life areas on that wheel of life, relationships is a major one as well. Okay, and so if we are in this yin state, which is present, aware, grateful, in the now, and also seeing our partner with these eyes of, I see you as you are today, not through my past filters of you, then we are much more, there's much more kind of like aliveness available in all of our relationships as well. Okay, and this links in extremely powerfully into feminine energy. Okay, so when I first learned about feminine energy, obviously I was already aware of yin and yang through my practice of Chinese medicine. Okay, but when I first learned about masculine and feminine energetics, it was in the context of relationships. And I found a relationship coach online who I started following and receiving daily emails from. And then I purchased some of the online courses of this online relationship coach. And it was all about how to be in your feminine. And this applies directly to masculine and feminine, male and female relationships. Okay, whether you're a man or a woman, there is masculine and feminine energy at play. Okay, when we're relating with one another. Okay, and so that is a place where I already was embodied and anchored in my meditation practice, in my consciously aware state here in the now. And when I was learning all of this new amazing information about relationships, I was also noticing how the teaching of feminine energy is the same. Okay, it's the same as the being more yin, the daily practice that I teach. It's the same. However, when we learn necessarily like masculine and feminine energetics, there's a lot more detail. Okay, there's a lot more nuance that is learned. Okay, and this is why we're beings of constant evolution and growth. Okay, we're constantly learning, and learning keeps us young as well. Okay, I watched an amazing documentary called The Brain by David Eagleman on the BBC many years ago. It was all about the brain, and one of the things I remember most about that was this study that they did with these nuns that were all over 100 years old, and they basically all kept learning, and this was the secret to their long life. So they would die at around age 106, but they were so sharp and so young in their minds, and it was because they were continuously learning new things. So they would be learning new languages, they would be doing degrees. I mean, most people think that they stop learning once school is finished, or then maybe they have to learn something for their job, and maybe they then have to study a bit more to get a promotion in their job. Okay, but for some people on this planet, learning is like an ingrained spark that is just constantly alight, and you just learn, and you get fueled by learning, and you know it will keep you young. Okay, so I would invite you to be a lifelong learner as well. Okay, so even though I already had this conscious aware meditation present moment practice nailed, it doesn't mean that the learning stopped there, because every single thing I've learned since then has compounded the recognition that the meditation practice is at the centerpiece of it all. So we could say that each thing I learned was a separate wheel of its own. So like the wheel of healing, okay, and all the different healing modalities and all of Chinese medicine, you know, how to truly heal I've got courses on this, okay, pre-recorded courses on this if you want to dive deeper into these topics. But ultimately, at the center of that wheel, the healing wheel, it's awareness, it's meditation. You don't have to call it meditation, okay, but that is what it is for me. But it's being more yin. So yin and yang. Yang is doing, active, thinking, and yin is being, stillness, receiving. It's at the center of healing. And it's at the center of healthy relationships. Because ultimately, by being this yin state, by being consciously aware, present moment, now, engaged, fully awake and aware, we're in our feminine energy naturally, and it heals relationships. And it, when I actually first learned the masculine and feminine energetics is when I just met Dan. And it's been the foundation for the most amazing relationship, which continues to blossom and continues to deepen and continues to just get better and better and better, because of the feminine masculine mastery, if you like. But even that, it's never complete. You never say, oh, I'm done, I'm master of it now, I don't need to keep learning that. Don't need to keep engaging that. No, we do it every day, and it deepens. So as the meditation practice has deepened and become more alive, and my state has become more expansive, then so has the healing gone deeper of my physical body, and so has the relationship hit new levels and continues to do so, ever, never ending. Okay. And it also applies in business. Okay. So in business, we can show up a certain way in our business, okay? So we can show up in a disempowered way and not even realize that we are being disempowered, because we're actually trying to do it all from our heads, and we're thinking about the solutions to all the problems, and we are overworking and overdoing, and also not feeling good enough and feeling depleted, because all of that is a kind of masculine energy. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with masculine energy, but when women who are feminine are in too much masculine, everything will break down. The health will break down, the relationships will break down, and the business may break down. Or we place too much emphasis on the business at the detriment of all of the other life areas, so they break down, and maybe the business keeps going because we put so much effort into it. But there's a different way, and it's being more yin, it's being embodied, okay, in this present moment awareness, this relaxed, surrendered, trustful state from which the solutions can come in as aha, from which all of our doing can flow, and from which it's easier to prioritize. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. So that is basically today's message in a nutshell. Okay guys, it was this visual that came to me of this center point of the wheel, whatever wheel we're thinking of, because each wheel of life, each area on the wheel of life, we can take it, each segment out, and make it its own wheel. So we can have a business wheel, and we can have a relationships wheel, and we can have a health wheel, and we can have a spirituality wheel. We can have all these different wheels created from each segment on the wheel, and each wheel has its center point, and the center of everything is awareness practice. Okay, it's where all of our power comes from. It's where all of your power comes from. All of your power comes from being, and when your doing flows out of your being, then your doing is more powerful. Okay, and your thinking is more powerful, and your creating is more powerful, and your relating is more powerful, and the impact of the work that you bring into the world is more powerful when it's flowing from this aware, awake center. All right, guys? So that is what I wanted to say to you today. If you're on live, I invite you to ask a question. If you're watching the replay, I invite you to leave a question in the comments for me. And if you are interested to come and learn how to actually, it's like I could tell you once how to be more yin, all right, but it is a daily ongoing practice which will deepen over time, and new insights will always come through, and it's nuanced. And so I would invite you to learn it as a program, go on a journey with me as your guide. I invite you to. You can do it one-to-one, or you've got my pre-recorded programs, which have been available for a long time, but they've just recently been repackaged beautifully. Okay, I'm going to pop the link to my link tree in the comments to this video, so you can have a little scan of all of my available offers. Any questions on anything, please reach out. And whilst we're on this subject, I've got a new meditation class starting, and in person. Okay, so I love to do most of my work online these days, as you know, which means there's no limits to who and how I can help. But at the same time, there is a new in-person class starting in Basingstoke at the clinic. Okay, I will also pop the link for, you can put your name down on the list for more information about the classes. There's a taster session coming up, £20 for the taster. And if you decide to join the meditation course from the taster, you'll get your £20 rolled into the whole price of the course. And if you don't, then it's just £20 for the 90-minute session. And it's going to be structured like a group coaching. So there'll be segments of meditation, and there'll be segments of teaching, and there'll be segments of group live hot seat coaching happening live in the session in both the taster and the course. Okay, so that is it for today. Any questions on anything, please reach out. You know I love you, and I will speak to you again very soon. Bye.